just left Orlando this morning. Our first stop is Gainesville. We're going to the Haile Homestead house. It's a plantation home. It used to be a plantation home. Now it's a museum. This one is unique because on the inside of the house, every room has over 1,000 words written on the walls by the plantation homeowners. So this property, I don't know what to expect. We just got here now. I come here with an open heart. I don't know how I'm gonna react being here, but I just want to work on pictures, and I'm just here to observe. I'm not here to glorify, what this was. I'm just here to, to kind of document what's left and try to, remember some of the lives that may have been lost here. So to me, America started as a horror story. So it's just like, you have to be careful in terms of just coming here and thinking this is fun. I have fun being on the road, but it's not, fun revisiting this type of terror.
We're at the historic Haile Homestead in Gainesville, Florida. This house was built in 1854, give or take, by 56 enslaved laborers. It took them about 1.5 years to build the house, which is very quick for the time period. The mother and father of the household are Thomas and Serena Haile, and they lived here with their 15 kids, give or take. They lost a kid on their way here from Camden, South Carolina, where they're originally from. And then they also had their eldest son die at 19 here, so they had like 11 to 12 kids at one time in the house.
Can you walk me through this? What is this right here?
This is a cistern. This would have been the Haile family's water source. Yeah, this would have been all concrete around the sides. Of course, a lot of it has fallen off over time. This is going to fall off soon. But it's kind of like a makeshift well.
So the people who were enslaved on this property, where did they reside?
So this is the back porch of the house. They would have been in rows of cabins in the back of the house here. That actually is what we have remaining, is a fireplace from one of the cabins. And if we walk over there, there's an outline of wood and pillars that is just the outline of what the cabin would have looked like. So if we look just at the property, there's a pillar here that would have been a pillar behind the fireplace here, and here. So this outline of wood around the edge is just how big your cabin would have been. Again, rows of cabin, 56 enslaved laborers, it probably would have been 2 to 3 to a cabin, so it's a very small space for several people, and there would have been just a couple rows of it in the backwoods here.
For me, it's tough even stepping on these steps right here, because for the people who own this house, they lived here in some kind of comfort. Wow, just a few yards away, people were living dramatically different. I think I'm ready. Boom.
There are 12,500 documented words written on the walls, but there's also a lot of undocumented writing. So for safety purposes, we had to put in a fire system and stuff so we can legally do tours, and we've had to replaster walls in our restoration period of this house just for safety. But in one of our rooms, I'll show you actually, that we just got some of the newer plaster off of the wall, and there's tons of writing underneath it. In this room, particularly the music room, there's lots of pieces that are in a scroll kind of shape, and here they talk about there's a chaperone here, and they talk about the Unleashed Orchestra plays for them. So the Unleashed Orchestra was an orchestra of African Americans, Native Americans, and they played for them. And they said they have a jolly good time playing to eat. So we have lots of different pieces that we put in each room. What's so significant about the writing is that you're not gonna see this everywhere. We're not the only house with writing on the walls in the world, but it's not common, and we don't know why they wrote on the walls.
So what do we have here?
Lots of plaster, old plaster from the house. We like to point out this plaster just because if you look in it, you can see all this hair. So this hair tells us that they had at least one red horse and one white horse. So they used the horsehair as fiber to hold the plaster on the walls. And then of course we had architects here. It's an old house, you kind of have to look under the house and in the area nearby. They didn't do the best job. We took a tour. We had a little kid on that tour get away from its family. He ran under the house and he came back with an old shoe, which is so old you can see nails in the bottom of it still, which they would have used to hold the sole together. Under the house, I've walked the whole thing, or crawled the whole thing, and under the entire house, of course, we're raised up for ventilation purposes on these like limestone pillars, but if you go under the house, you can see all of the wood that runs underneath the house all the way back. You can see handmade axe marks from tools and stuff as they shaved this wood down in the area, cut the wood, shaved in the area, and built the house. And of course, if you go on the inside floors too with that pine, heartwood pine, you can also kind of see it's not super even everywhere because they had to shave down that wood themselves.
So for you personally, why is it important for you to do this kind of work? Why do you do it?
I've had a really horrible experience learning history, especially last year. I had a horrible history teacher, world history teacher. And so I've always kind of done my own research because I don't trust public schools to give me the proper information. And I've lived next to this place for such a long time. I've wanted to come here for such a long time. And there's just so much history, and I feel like it's really important to spread that history as much as we can. We get people all over the country who come here, and it's really nice to be able to share the stories because nobody else is going to tell anybody about the stories of what happened here or who was here. So that's what our volunteer committee is here for. Obviously, nobody gets paid. We all choose to come here and do this and be able to share what nobody else is going to share.